In the Black Sea, Ukrainian boats, Kamikaze drones worth $250,000, destroy the Russian fleet worth billions of dollars. Ukraine has opened a new chapter in the field of naval operations, and this opening has been vulnerable and startling for Russia. In an event that occurred on the night of July 17th this year, an explosion on the Crimean Bridge, considered a key infrastructure structure for Russia, sparked an international response. The attack on the bridge was carried out with the help of a Ukrainian maritime drone known as a Kamikaze maritime drone. In this video, we take a look at this new element of Ukrainian weaponry and try to assess the possible implications of its use for the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. As the conflict erupted, Russia imposed a blockade on Ukrainian ports in the Black Sea, leaving Ukraine unable to ship various goods by sea. It was difficult for the Ukrainian military to do anything to counter this blockade. The Ukrainian Navy, even before the conflict, looked rather dilapidated, a reflection of the systematic corruption that had prevailed in the country throughout the period of independence. At the beginning of February 24, 2022, there were only 2 warships in the country that were still in service: a frigate named Hetman Sahaydachny and a landing ship named Yuri Olefarenko. Both ships were built in Soviet times. The frigate was destroyed in a mysterious sinking near the pier, which later turned out to have been carried out by Ukrainian forces. The landing ship in turn was destroyed by Russian missiles in the port of Odessa on May 29, 2023. Of course, Ukraine is armed with Western anti-ship missiles, such as the Harpoon and Naval Strike missile, as well as its own development, the Neptune cruise missile. Incidentally, it was this missile that destroyed the cruiser Moskva. However, the range of these missiles was insufficient to hit Russian ships near Sevastopol or the Crimean Bridge. The Russian side, aware of this limitation, was confident in the Black Sea. But then, out of the blue, or perhaps an unexpected explosion under the cover of night, a fact emerges. Ukraine can deliver devastating blows to Russian forces at sea, almost 400 miles or 643 kilometers from its shores. This is all thanks to Ukrainian naval drones. Their attack on the Crimean Bridge demonstrated that drones are changing the paradigm of modern warfare. Despite consistent statements by Russian officials about the impossibility of breaking through the defenses of Vladimir Putin's favorite childhood home, the Crimean Bridge, which is guarded by S-400 Triumph and S-1 Panzer air defense systems, the bridge was seriously damaged. This event became a real global sensation. However, the first successful use of maritime drones occurred on October 29, 2022, when a historic attack was carried out exclusively with the help of maritime drones. This attack targeted the Russian fleet in Sevastopol and destroyed 3 ships, including a patrol ship called Admiral Makarov. At the same time, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced the formation of a special fleet of maritime drones, consisting of 100 Ukrainian-made watercraft. The main purpose of this fleet, as noted by Zelensky, is to protect Ukrainian waters from cruise missiles launched from Russian ships. As for Ukraine's Kamikaze maritime drone, this technology was publicly demonstrated during the International Defense Exhibition, IDF 2023, which took place from July 25 to 28 in Turkey. The official name of this device is Magura Vi-5, Maritime Autonomous Security Unmanned Robotic Vehicle of Type 5. In unofficial discussions in Ukraine, it is often referred to as Mykola 3. Mykola is a Ukrainian name that is analogous to the English Niki. It is a small but very effective vessel, characterized by compactness, high speed, and impressive maneuverability. Its bow is equipped with a mine or bomb that automatically detonates when it encounters an enemy object. Even in bad weather conditions at sea, this object is hardly noticeable to the enemy, as its height above the waterline does not exceed 1.5 feet. These vessels are produced by small specialized enterprises, which is extremely important for Ukraine, given that Russia is focusing its efforts on destroying the military industry and means of production through missile strikes and kamikaze drones. It is important to note that the cost of manufacturing Ukrainian maritime drones is relatively low, about $250,000. Their design is based on civilian GTX or Fish Pro jet skis manufactured by the Canadian company Sea-Doo, and they are equipped with Austrian gasoline engines and Austrian Rotax. However, some analysts believe that Ukraine's Magura Vi-5 may be based on the U.S. Mantas T-12 UUV maritime reconnaissance drone, which was delivered to Ukraine in April this year. The exact number of units delivered has not been disclosed, but the total cost of these deliveries is close to $800 million. Ukrainian representatives emphasize that almost all components of the Magura Vi-5 are domestic. However, this raises some doubts. Regardless, the speed that the Ukrainian maritime drone can reach is 22 knots, and the maximum speed is 42 knots. For comparison, the maximum speed of a Russian patrol boat is 27 knots. This drone is controlled via the startling system, with the signal going directly to the control panel. In addition to manual control via Starlink, the vehicle is also equipped with a GPS navigation system and an inertial system. Most of the electronic components come from the Chinese company Fujian Jinhua. The drone's autonomy is up to 60 hours. It is 5.5 meters or 16 feet long and 1.5 meters or 3.2 feet wide. Its range is up to 450 nautical miles. Thanks to the built-in shock detonators in the front of the vessel, an explosion occurs when it collides with an enemy object. For this purpose, Soviet aircraft bombs Fab 100 or Fab 250 are used, which Ukraine has in sufficient quantities. The weight of the explosive on board is 320 kilograms or 705 pounds. In the manufacture of this drone, a completely new lightweight metal hull is used instead of the factory fiberglass hull. What is the attitude towards this new Ukrainian weapon? Only positive reviews prevail in the Ukrainian media, especially after the events of the night of August 4th, when Ukrainian unmanned kamikaze boats attacked the Novorossiysk naval base and caused serious damage to the large landing ship Olenigorsky Shakhtar. Some Ukrainian experts have suggested that with these weapons, Ukraine could soon restrict the movements of the Russian Navy in the Sevastopol Bay. However, to remain objective, let's look at the situation in more detail. Thus, the possession of such ships becomes virtually the only viable option for Ukraine. Because even if it had traditional warships at its disposal, the first attempt to launch a shelling in Crimea could be tantamount to suicide. They could be immediately destroyed by Russian planes or shelling from coastal defense batteries. However, of course, it should be understood that Ukrainian kamikaze maritime drones are not a universal solution to all of Ukraine's problems in the Black Sea. It will be difficult for them to limit the Russian warship fleet within the bay. There are also several objective drawbacks associated with these ships. First and foremost, although they are difficult to visually detect, especially at night or in bad weather, they are still detectable. The problem is that the sound trail from a gasoline engine is easily detected by shipboard acoustic systems. This opens up the possibility of using machine guns or rapid-fire cannons. For example, large-caliber machine guns of 12.7 and 14.5 mm caliber, as well as the AK-600 30 mm caliber ship artillery with one 6-barrel rotary gun and a firing rate of 4,000–5,000 rounds per minute. In the context of a maritime drone, there is no protection. Therefore, upon impact, the warhead detonates, tearing the maritime drone apart. What the Russians have demonstrated on several occasions is that they can repel attacks by Ukrainian naval drones using their warships. Conventional and well-known barrier approaches can also be used to combat these devices. Even after the latest attack on the Crimean Bridge, the Russians began to use such measures. So Magura 5.5 is certainly not a universal weapon. Moreover, some military experts, including Western ones, call these drones a tool of the weak against the strong. However, this does not mean that maritime drones will lose their relevance after the Russians start taking additional measures to protect them. Any conflict involves the integrated use of various weapons. Just as there is no universal weapon, there is no absolute defense. An example is the Crimean Bridge, ships or submarines with cruise missiles that can be hit in a complex attack. For example, using a group of maritime drones, one of them can open a passage by blowing up an obstacle, and the rest can use this passage to attack the bridge and ships in the bay. At the same time, an attack could be launched by the Anglo-French Storm Shadow, Scalp Egg cruise missiles. The same scenario can be used to attack ships in the water. In other words, the emergence of new types of weapons in Ukraine is gradually increasing the combat potential of the Ukrainian army. Gradually, drop by drop, it is increasing. And the final drop, which will change the course of victory in favor of Ukraine, is coming. It will be a drop of justice and freedom. Therefore, Ukrainian kamikaze drones are a valuable and timely addition to the arsenal. What are your thoughts on Ukrainian kamikaze drones? Leave your comments below. They will be interesting not only to us, but also to other viewers. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a big thumbs up for our work. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Here you will find many more fascinating videos.